Hello and welcome to the Janky-B-Cast. Despite my professional-sounding demeanour, the podcast shall sound nothing like this, as all participating are a bunch of idiots. This podcast, I give two of my friends a challenge each. One to play a game, the other to watch a movie, both of my choosing. I then have them sum up and review their experience with the game and movie, after which they are tasked with finding the connection between the two. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Hello and welcome to the Janky-B-Cast. I'm your host Rhys, and we are joined today by the same people that I'm always going to be joined by, as this is a three-person podcast, which is the format of how this podcast works. Do you want to say hi, Sam and Foley?
Hello.
Hello.
Do you want to tell me what you were just laughing about then?
I just grabbed the bottle out of my water behind me and the shelf came down.
What?
Just the way he did it so sneakily.
It's just falling straight down. Oh my
That's good
god.
timing.
Oh, you look like a little kid, just kind of about it.
As professional as always.
Always professional.
Indeed.
Oh, the name.
So,
Yeah.
well, that's also true. So how have you guys been?
Yeah, doing good, man. Yeah.
Nice?
Yeah, doing good, man.
I thought you weren't going to say. I thought you were just going to stay silent. So, that's how you doing, Foley? I'm good.
I did want to do. I was hoping I was going to like, yeah, just doing good.
And just leave it there.
Okay, on to the next topic.
Yeah, cool. Something I did want to mention before we start anything proper is that it has been brought to my attention by me in a series of random Google searches about random things that the main character of Cobra is called Marion. Do you think that that is potentially a reference to the real name of John Wayne?
Okay.
We'll move on from that subject then.
Wait, what are you saying? So his real name is
John Wayne's real name is Marion, and it is a very John Wayne-esque film. So I'm wondering if it's potentially a reference to that, if that makes sense.
I mean, if he's already ripping off, Dirty Harry, so I wouldn't be surprised if they'll try to make him more American by adding that. So,
But you see what I mean? That's why I think...
You know what I think?
what do you think, Sam?
A Robin Hood reference.
I mean, and plus he's dressed as black, so could be that.
Why has that got anything to do with Robin Hood?
No, because
She's a widow.
Is she?
No, she thought she was.
She thought... Which Robin
was
Hood
he
story
married?
are you talking about?
isn't it
Well, when Robin died in the Crusades, but he didn't actually die, right? I'm talking
Did
about
he?
the Prince of Thieves.
Oh, okay, I was going to say specifically Prince of Thieves. Problem is,
Yeah,
the
they're
main
not the
Robin
general
Hood film... No, the main Robin Hood film that I've seen is Robin Hood Men in Tights. So I've
I
got
don't think that's
no context to that.
main reference point for Robin Hood.
I was thinking of
my main
is
one.
it how women's characters dress all in black and stuff? Like, I don't know, because Cobra dressed all in black, so
I mean, the other Robin Hood I've seen is the Disney version, so that doesn't help either because he's...
Oh,
a
the
fox.
animal.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
animal
the
one.
fox one.
Yeah.
I watched that loads ago, but I haven't seen it in a long time because
Well, Foley will be glad to know that I haven't put it on the list because...
I bet it's on the list.
I could put it on the list now, but something that is quite funny is I mentioned in the first one that there were 17 things on the list. Now there's over 50.
I don't know whether to be
And that's
excited or
and that-
terrified.
is not for the films that I haven't paired up with anything on or put onto the list. That's just for what is paired up on the list alone. I have so many things that I could pair something up with, or I just haven't put it onto the list. Like I've got some pairs which I've just not put on the list in an order yet, but I've got the thing that I'm pairing with it.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
You're busy, haven't you?
Well, I mean, I don't have the challenge of actually playing or watching the stuff. So I've got to do something to not let the side down, essentially. Like,
True.
otherwise I'm just sort of here, and I go, Sam, what did you do? That's cool. Foley, what did you do? That's cool. And then I'm just here doing nothing in the middle and just insulting or praising either of the properties.
yeah.
Wait, so what's going on?
What are you
The
doing?
fly that keeps buzzing around in front of my face.
Flipped off a fly.
You flipped off a fly.
Well, you know.
Foley, tell me, What was the film that you watched?
Oh, so the film that you got me to watch was Legally Blonde. It stars Rhys Witherspoon. It's a good film. Yeah, no. Right, in seriousness.
In seriousness.
The film you got me to watch was the anime film Quest for Camelot.
Quest for Camelot from 1998.
That is the one.
That is the one.
And what is it? It's based. I think it's based off a book as well. It's written in the 70s.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I forgot. Is it sort of like? Oh, is it some damsel? Isn't it?
I believe so. One of the reviews that I've got mentioned the book, and I was like, oh, I didn't know it was based on a book. So I looked at the book, and I was like, oh, what a lovely book.
So it's like another It scenario, isn't it?
Kind of.
Probably not as bad.
That's true. But... I mean, there's probably a certain scene in that book that you probably can't really recreate with child actors.
No.
Anywho.
Yeah, I assume Sam has no context to what we're talking about.
No, I know what it is.
I think he knows.
Good. Then I don't have to mention
the only
it.
thing I know about it.
Brilliant. Honestly, I don't really like a lot of the Stephen King books. Like, I really don't like The Shining, as another example. But we're getting too far off topic.
Right, let's get back into traffic then.
It's because I was trying to say off track and off topic with traffic. That's why.
Traffic. Oh, that could be like a new segment now. Yeah.
Off traffic. Oh, God. What was the film about?
So the film's about... So the protagonist is a girl called Kaylee. I think it's Kaylee.
Yes.
And her father is a knight for King Arthur. And she kind of wants to be a knight herself. She wants to prove herself, but her father is kind of like, no, maybe don't feel that so far ahead. Like at this point, she's like, I think she's like 6 or something. She's very young.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't think very far ahead because he's dead in the first 10 minutes.
Yes, he gets murdered by another knight of the Round Table, which I thought, what do I think his name was? I thought, what was it? What's his name? I thought it was Ruber.
It is Ruber, yes, it is Ruber.
By Gary Oldman.
By Gary Oldman.
His voice, I was like, what the fuck? It sounds so squeaky in it.
Mm.
So I was like...
Which is quite funny because he's a big, burly, masculine character. And he's got quite a squeaky voice, and you're like,
very childlike.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it really was off-putting. So Gary Oldman murders her father. And so years later, Kaylee wants to still prove herself, wants to become a knight. And then Gruber, because he murdered the father, he runs away, he escapes for, is it 11 years?
I believe so.
Is it 11 years? To be fair, I did write it in my notes. Yeah, 11 years. Yeah, or 10 years. And he comes back and he wants to have King Arthur's sword. So he gets this big creature. What's it called? A griffin? The griffin's Excalibur. So I said Excalibur. And then the Excalibur gets lost in this forest where it seems deadly. It's terrifying. So Kay sees this opportunity. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go and get that Excalibur. I'm going to prove myself to be a knight. And so you get a really fun adventure from it, to be honest. What was it? She comes across a blind man who lives there. It's called Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
That's voiced by, is it? I don't pronounce his name. It's like Carrie Ewells or something?
Carrie Ewells, yes.
Because he's from Sword. And I'm not going to lie, his voice is amazing when it comes to singing.
He's not the singer.
I take that back. Is it not him?
Unfortunately, I believe the only person in the film, or the only people in the film who are their own singing voice, are the dragon and Gary Oldman. Everyone else has a different person singing, which is really weird because Carrie Ewells can sing.
Because doesn't he sing in Thingy?
Yeah, he sings in Men in Tights, which is funny. The second time he's been brought up today.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
There you go. It's coming full circle.
Full circle. There you go.
Full circle. Yep.
And I thought his character was quite, I don't know, like those, the chemistry between them was quite fun. It's very playful.
Yes.
And and they come across two-headed dragon,
Yes.
and one of them is voiced by Eric Idle,
And the other one is voiced by Don Rickles.
Yes. Oh, what's Don Rickles done again? Is it like Toy Story or something?
I think he was Mr. Potato Head in Toy Story.
Mr.
Yes.
Potato Head. That's it. I knew
Mr.
it
Potato
was.
Head in Toy Story. Yeah.
And those two are really fun as well. Like, what's it? Devon and Cornwall.
Yes.
It's like there, which is like they don't want to be stuck to each other. And
they are very entertaining.
They're so fun. Like their musical number, what's it called? It's so like they don't want to be around each other. So I don't know. I thought they played off really well. And then who else did we have? Oh yeah, Pierce Brosnan as King Arthur.
If I didn't have you? Is it that one?
Didn't have you? Yes, that was the one.
Yes, and Pierce Brosnan doesn't sing either.
No, to be fair, it's hardly in it. Really.
Thank God he doesn't sing. My God.
Has he sang before?
Yes, and it was bad.
Oh, is it in Mamma Mia?
I believe so, yeah. He's like, you just listen to him in Mamma Mia, and they're like, Mamma Mia, we should have hired a different singer. Mamma Mia, he can't sing.
Who would have thought? Seriously, James Bond, mate, might as well. But
I mean, his catchphrase is, the name's Bond, James Bond, not, I'm a singer, I swear.
Imagine if James Bond was a musical. That'd be sick.
Yeah, why not?
Right?
Why not? Everyone's so caught up about the new, like, who's going to play the new James Bond. Let's get a 007 musical. Why not?
Is there a James Bond musical?
Harry Potter and the Man with the Golden Mic. Wait, shit.
I'm the man with the golden mic.
There is one that I can see, but it doesn't look like it's a super popular one.
Would it be like a very
It says a
amateurish?
whistle-stop cabaret parody that I found.
A cabaret?
Cabaret parody.
Well,
I can't tell how well known it is, but it does exist when I'm Googling it. By Tom Stewart. So I've never heard of that person, unfortunately. You know. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, too. I like this film for what it was. It was it's for a younger audience, so it's not good. But there's some really dark moments though. Which I kind of miss in kids' films. Like
Ruger's song is pretty dark, yeah.
Which is it when he first comes?
That's the song that he's singing just as he starts to turn the animals into weapon things. And you're like, what?
This is what I thought was I was like, he's just like pushing everyone. And they come out as like very full of metal, like, they're metal creatures really, aren't they?
He throws a bird in and the bird's got an axe for a beak.
Look at axe for a face. Yeah. I actually wrote something down. What was it? Oh, what? It was a really stupid joke. There was a toilet joke. I think it was literally from that little bird. And it's like, but the one joke that made me laugh on that bird with the axe is I think he was pleading for his life. And he goes, I got a wife and 2 eggs. I don't know why that made me laugh. So it's so stupid.
That's quite a good line. I like that one.
I was like, I love that joke. And then, but yeah, the Transformers into like, well, not Transformers. I've read my list. I was like, when it transforms the villagers into metal monsters. What was it? The acid lake. There's a scene that involves an acid lake when they bump into the 2-headed dragons, like Devon and Cornwall, and like an actual dragon comes out and attacks them. They have to make it across this acid lake. I went, that looks awesome. That actually looked like the best epic scene on the entire film. But they also, what was it? I quoted this down, and they actually, I don't know why this threw me off, but it's like one of them says a flamed retarded dragon, and I don't know why that really threw me off. I was like, Jesus Christ!
A flamed retired?
No, flamed retarded dragon.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to quote it, then underline it. Like, this was said in a kids.
Did they say that, or is it retardant?
No.
I don't know why they say retardant. That comes without.
I swear I had if I'm wrong, but I swear I had my subtitles on. I was like, that definitely said retarded.
No, I'm looking at the thing. It says, there's nothing more pathetic than a flame retarded dragon. Wow. I do not remember that line from the film.
And now you never will.
Probably not.
because I think because Devon can't because they can't breathe out fire because they're not they're not actually like dragons, are they? Like they're too scared of everything. They can't fly. They can't breathe out fire. So yeah, it's something worse than afraid to be turned into dragons. Like so, but what was it? The one thing I was really disappointed by because they all mentioned throughout the entire film they'll mention talk about ogres and all that. And in my head, I couldn't think. Just Shrek just popping into the screen. I was like, okay.
This came out like 4 years before it.
I know, but I was just like, please let me Shrek. Just like a really, but the ogre looked awful. Like, I'm not saying the animation itself was great anyway. It's like it was decent enough, but for the ogre, if you look it up, it's for some reason they just decided to make it all CGI, and you could tell it's like I was like, that just looks weird. And
oh my god, yeah, I remember that.
It just, you see what I mean? I was completely like, it just looked awful.
Yeah, it really doesn't look good.
And his scene was completely pointless because they're built. It's like, oh yeah, the ogre will eat you and everything. Like, he'll eat anything. And like, I think where's he got? Because he's got the sword stuck in him somewhere. So they have to do like Mission Impossible, like lowering the girl down, and like the ogre wakes up with his massive eye, and he's like, "Oh, okay." It's like nothing's gonna happen. And I think he just went back to sleep. Like then Rubricate comes in, starts causing mayhem. The ogre gets up, and then they film like the ogre did nothing. They built this thing. He just slept. He didn't eat anyone.
It's one of those cases where it's all tell, not show, and then they don't end up showing anyway later.
It's literally, they kind of missed the point of the whole saying. It's like, we'll show it, but not much. Like, well, what's the point then? He literally opened his. She was like right in front. Like, it's like, say if a spider's right in front of you, you would lose your. Like, okay, I don't know what that like. But he's like, oh, all right, I'll let you go this time then. It's like, there's no danger there. But what was it?
Just made him a big potential antagonist, only to just sort of pull the rug out, and he's not even remotely a threat.
No, I'd say Ruba probably did more in that scene than the actual ogre. I was like, that should not. It should have been more exciting than that. But that was disappointing. And like the other things I was going to say as well, I felt like Devon and Cornwall tried. I think the success of like Aladdin, with like Robin Williams is like the genie. They've thrown so many like what was it, references and all that, like that obviously wouldn't exist in this world. And so like they even it's like at the end when they're escaping the ogre, I think like they're flying and they're like it's like this like really long like airplane joke. So it's like, oh yeah, keep your arms and legs. It's like, okay, that's funny. But then he carries on for another 2 minutes. I'm like, okay, this joke is not a joke anymore. It's that she then just acted like a plane. So it's like they make a lot of references. I'm like, so you're just trying to copy Robin Williams, though, aren't you? Like,
I think so. When did that Aladdin come out? That Aladdin came out in 1992.
Yeah. So I feel like that was like, oh, that worked in that. It's like, yeah, but you had Robin Williams. No offense to Eric Idle. I was like, you had Robin Williams, who was just insane at that stuff. And oh yeah, they also used the Superman theme tune.
I mean, it's probably because it's a Warner Brothers movie, and so as far as I'm concerned, they own the rights to Superman and the Superman music. So they may as well just chuck it in. Why not? We own it. We can reference stuff that we've made.
It's like, when you just gotta, you can't process it, like, because it's when Devon and Cornwall like finally learn to fly together. It's like, yeah, that's quite good. They just threw her in that. I'm like, I was like, I didn't even feel that there was an epic anymore. I was like, that's just Superman. Like, what are you doing?
It's a decent tune, but it's not epic, really.
No, it's just like, oh, okay, there's a bit of it. Like, again, it's the cultural references. Like, why are you just throwing these in? Like, I feel like it just couldn't be its own thing at some point. It's like, why? It's like, it's quite...
Yeah. It worked with Robin Williams because Robin Williams has the natural charisma of being funny and he was saying them in a very funny way. With that kind of thing, it's just, here's the reference, we're moving on. Or, here's the reference to something that we've done. Look at how cool we are. I want to do lots of references in anything that I write, But generally, the way that I do reference is I do them. I don't make a big show out of them half the time. Sometimes they're in the background, or sometimes I will just reference them, and then I will move on. That is the way I do it. I don't keep the joke going.
These dragons, like, bear in mind the time era they're in, they should know what an airplane is. Like, Robin Williams makes sense because he's a genie. He can turn into anything. And he's magic. It's like, that makes sense.
And you know that he can make these kind of references because at one point he says, "You're never going to find another girl like this. Trust me, I've looked." That alone gives all the context that you know to know that he can make jokes from far in the future. To be honest, he probably, from that sentence alone, is in the full understanding that he's in a film. But he doesn't break the fourth wall because he just assumes he knows it's in a film because he's a magical creature. So he can go, "Oh, this film's coming out in the 90s, so I'll make 90s references." Well, I won't bring attention to the fact that we're a film in the 90s. I'll just make 90s references or 80s references. That's what he does.
It's a tiny pet peeve. I was like, nobody I don't know why it frustrated me so much. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but like, it's a decent story. Like, it doesn't need all that anyway. So I was like, why?
From memory, I think my favourite characters are Garrett, Devon, and Cornwall. But I think Garrett's just a weird. He feels like a breath of fresh air. Because he's blind. Yeah. And he's so sarcastic, it's hilarious.
Like, I love the fact they don't... What was it? It's the fact he's just such a cocky character. Like, he's just so confident. And he doesn't care. And what is it? His pet... What's his... Is it like the eagle? Like, is it an owl or an eagle?
I think it might be an eagle, but I might be wrong.
It's like... Is it called Aiden? It's called Aiden. It's like... Who, like protects him and warns him where the enemies. I was like, that's such a cool character. Also, was it the Devon? I think Devon or Cole literally eats Aiden. Like, they just eat him. Like, what would if they actually killed him? What the hell would Garrett do? It's like, he needs him there, man.
I mean, that's all you need to do to be able to just sort of throw him off. You just get rid of the bird and he's done.
Just get rid of the bird. It's like which Ruben never really figures out, but. Also, look.
Well, Ruben's not necessarily the intelligent character that he thinks he is. He's the brute strength wins, and I'm smart by knowing that kind of character.
It's like brute force. Like, I love. There's a scene. It's just ingrained in me. I think while they're chasing after him, I think it's like I think that he's like set up camp or something. Like they have a fire, and he says something like, "Oh, I'm going to catch them," and he just puts his hand on the fire, he just grips a burning stone. And what did I put down? Yeah, when I get my hands on that girl, like, he makes a weird sound when his hands like, it's like he's just burning his hand. Like, that was really annoying. Like, the fact his face makes his like twitch. I'm like, this guy is really unhinged. Really unhinged.
Because he's unhinged, but he's not effective.
No, he's more annoying.
The only one who's actually effective of the villains is the Griffin, and even then the Griffin's a bit of a plank.
Oh, he's a bit of a bitch, isn't he? Like, the fact he's got this weird guy literally, like, yanking his mouth. I'm like, you're a massive, terrifying bird. Kick his ass. Just do it. But I will admit, I love what Gruber, is it Ruber, sorry? I'm thinking of Die Hard now. Yeah. Gruber. Like, when he forces his hand to the sword, I went, that's pretty cool. I like that.
That's clever.
No, I like it's like I was like, that is actually quite a cool moment. I love that. And then I don't remember. I don't remember this, but apparently I think there's a Dirty Harry reference as well.
Oh God!
I can't remember specifically, but I just had to write it down.
Is it you feel lucky, do you punk? Is it that? Maybe?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like that. Yeah, because that's like the most iconic thing. But yeah. What is it? Yeah, for some reason I put Ruben has very expressionate with his arms. He's very expressionate. I think he does all these things with his arms and everything. I was like,
God, I'm looking at some of the quotes, and there's a Houston, we have a problem joke.
Oh, I think that's part of the plane sequence. Yeah, I think that might be.
Great. I can't see a Dirty Harry reference here, but yeah. Does the end of the film, does Kaylee actually become a knight, or does she become a shield maiden? Because I could never tell.
No, so I think King Arthur does knight them. both of them because I think Garrett wanted to be a knight as well. But
yeah, that was his whole plot because he's the one that was protected by Kaylee's dad, and he was blinded.
Yes,
and her dad died protecting him.
Oh, that was a question. I was going to ask it, because the way Garrett got blinded, really confused me because the barn's on fire because I think it was an attack or something.
Yeah,
and all the horse because I think he was working in the barn.
Yeah,
he's getting all the horses out. I think all the horses were startled. Then I think he smacked Garrett in the face. I was like,
I mean, I think that would kill you, not blind you.
Yeah, that's what I got. I was like, that should not blind you. I don't know.
A concussion, at least. Maybe it hit him in the wrong place and he fell in the fire or something.
I think no, but he's outside the barn. That's what. It's horseshit, man. I don't get
Maybe
it.
it's like a really narrow horse tooth, so he just punctured the eye and then left without.
Yeah. So his face looks perfect still. Like, what happened? What seriously happened? You took a beautiful face, Garrett. Beautiful. But
that being said, I do like that that he stays blind at the end. That he doesn't miraculously get given powers to not be blind. That would have fucking pissed me off. If they'd gone, here's a strong blind character, and now he can see, and he's fine and normal. It's like, oh, come on. Like, we've had this cool blind character for the entire film, and you make him able to see at the end. That would have annoyed me so much.
I agree. Because I was confused.
He's a hero now, so now he can see again, and he no longer has an ailment. It's like literally going, oh, this character here is now a hero, so he no longer needs his wheelchair, and he can walk. And it's like, I mean, it is. It's like that. It's that equivalent.
Yeah.
It's
like, no disability, no more. There you go.
It's like, he's now a hero in our eyes, so he is no longer disabled. It's like, I don't know that's how it works.
Because that's a big plus I give this. Like, although it's like I say, the film, it is what it is for like a younger audience. Like, the animation isn't fantastic, like anything like masterpiece. But the fact, I think the characters do their job. Like, it's a fun journey. I like the characters, and like you say, everyone else, you got like all the villagers that turn into these metal freaks come back to normal. But like, I was kind of like in my head when I was watching it, oh, he's still blind. I went, oh no. But it wasn't caused by magic, though. He got hit in the face by a horse. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So he got hit in the face by a horse.
Unless it did that, I went, so, the horse... It's like, that Happy Gilmore kind of thing. It's like, the horse that took your sight? We got his head. It's like, no, that would have been a very different film.
Yeah.
But
I just want to say, the description... got hit in the head with a horse is different by a horse hitting him in the head. Because hitting him in the head with a horse makes me think someone's picked up an entire horse and just thrown it at him.
Might as well done, yeah.
Or just like picked up the horse by the hoof and just thrown it around like it's some kind of weapon. Just slammed.
It's a really bad game of horseshoe. It's like just flinging a carrot.
No. You're supposed to take the horseshoe off the horse before you throw it.
God's sake, Garrett, this is why you're not going to become a knight.
Impaled on the spike.
Because, actually, something that really confused me, when Ruben is tricked by putting the sword back into the stone and it reverses everything, the two dragons actually come apart. Like, Devon, but then, literally within seconds, they decide to come back together. I'm like, okay. So I'm guessing they learned, like, they actually want to be together.
I think that's what happened, because I think that they have this sort of small conversation about, you have the opportunity to go, why didn't you? And one of the other ones sort of like, I didn't think that I could leave you alone, or something like that.
But I think it's a bit stupid, I'm not going to lie. It's like, I'd want my own body to, like, yeah, I get, it's like, you're like your family, you don't want to leave them, but it's like, I don't want to be connected to them.
Well,
like, I don't want to be...
literally just live in the same house, mate.
Yeah, it's like, still do your own thing, but so you don't have to be stuck together. So I think that's the only thing that really pissed me off. But, what was it? But yeah, the third act was pretty cool. Like, it's actiony, it was fun. But I loved at the end, because I think, Garrett and Kaylee get married, and they're riding off with, like, the carriage, and it says, just knighted. I went, I like that.
That's
actually that's a really nice way to end it.
I think I remember that bit as well. Some of the few bits that I actively remember.
Yeah, I think I can't really be harsh like I was in Cobra, because
Wow.
I could.
I mean, would you
Could be
recommend
odd.
this movie to someone else? Because I know you wouldn't recommend Cobra.
I mean, I think I would probably because I think it's just a fun film. Yeah.
If you knew someone who had kids, you'd just be there like, oh yeah, watch this film. It's a good romp. It's interesting.
I think I actually would.
Oh,
Because
nice.
I think the fact I think for me as well, I liked it more. I like this film a lot more as well because I like musicals. So I like some of the songs were really fun and the characters, like I said, the characters are fun and all that. Yeah. So I think it was just a really good time.
Nice. I mean, I liked the film. I remember enjoying it while I was watching it.
Right. When did you watch this then?
I watched it half a year ago, maybe a year ago, something like that. I found out it was a film that I'd never heard of that had Carrie Yules, Eric Idle, and a whole loads of people, quite big people, and I'd never heard of this movie.
Cast, man.
Yeah, the cast is stacked. There's so many big people in it. Describe in 4 words how this film made you feel. Go on.
Like a female knight.
Like a female knight. My lady.
That's how. No, it's just. It's how I can describe it. Really. Like it just gets you motivated in a weird way. It's like she's like she wants to do that. She's going to the forest and all that, fighting a griffin, and this really oversized man-child who just burns his hand. If you find that scene, it really freaks me out.
He's
just like a little eye.
understand.
There's like a little eye twitch as well. I'm like, this is just too much for a kids' film. Like,
Thanks, Gary Oldman. One of the only people in the film that sings.
thanks, Commissioner Gordon. Yeah.
His hand just sizzling the entire time.
I really hope he method acted that. Like, he actually had like a burning stone. When he's recorded, like, that's how authentic I wanted.
The rest of the film, he's just got like a massive band with a couple panels.
Just in the studio, just like, yeah, I don't need to do anything else, do I?
Here's the behind the scenes footage, and he just can't turn the page to the right. He has to just do it with his left hand to change
Just
the
in
script.
hospital.
Yeah.
But no, I actually really I enjoyed it. Yeah,
That's
it
good.
was.
I enjoyed it as
it was-
well. Yeah. I mean,
I think
the
that's
rating for it, thank you. The rating for it on IMDb is 6.2. I'd say that's a fair rating. Maybe
That's
a
pretty
bit higher.
decent.
6.5, 6.6, I'd say, a bit higher.
10 is this?
Yeah, it's out of 10. Nearly 7, I would say. Not quite 7, but I'd say roughly between 6 and 7. Enjoyable, but not amazing or good.
I would have to say about 6. Like I said, like it's not.
There's a lot of
Anything
stuff in the
like-
film that's weird.
I think it's just so. Like I say, I think the little bits just really dumb it down. Like, well, it's just
Stuff
like, it lets
adds
it down.
up to let it down.
Yeah, it's the whole references, the fact they just have to reference Superman. Like, why? I don't know. It's just things like that. Like, it felt like then he wasn't confident enough to be its own thing.
I would say that's probably the way I describe it as well. I mean, if it weren't for the fact that a book exists that it was loosely based off of, I wouldn't have been surprised if it was supposed to be something else. And then they realised they got like halfway through the film and went, oh, we didn't have a good ending. Let's change the main character to be a girl to then have a wedding at the end. But because I know it's based off a book, I don't have that cynical overview. And I think Kaylee and Garrett are well-written characters, I would say.
Yeah.
And I think they have good
like,
chemistry with each other. But
you just instantly love them. Like, when they're both together. Like, even when Garrett first comes in, you're like, this guy's hilarious.
You instantly love them. And I will get on to that when I read the reviews.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. It's going to be like the whole, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be like another Twilight thing. Like, people going to have their own issues, their relationship. Like, here we go. What could they have done better?
Should have gone with Gruber.
I think Kaylee and the Griffin should have been together, actually, because they're both misunderstood.
You mean Devon, Cornwall, and Kaylee.
That would be a really weird threesome.
Gotta sit together, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. If it weren't for you, I would have been with her.
And that's definitely Cornwall's fault. I don't know why, I really hate that. It's like, you spent the entire thing saying you'd rather be, like, you know, separate. Like, no, just stick together. Like, because you're lazy and you're terrified. And I'm getting angry.
Pretty much the main reason, yeah.
Hate it. They're away for 1 second. That's how stupid it was. If it was longer, but okay, fair enough. But then, like, oh no, I don't actually like this. Hate it. Well, then that is.
They could have at least given it like a week.
Yeah, give it a little tester. Let's see what it's like to be on your own.
They could have just come back to Merlin and went, Merlin, we changed our mind. Can you put us together again? Merlin's like, oh, yeah, sure. Bippity bop.
Bippity bop.
Well, I didn't want to say bippity boop because that's Disney, isn't it?
You draw like a bunch of scalpels and like throw it out. All right, yeah, man.
It'll be bippity bop. I will undo the chop, and then it just brings them together.
Do the chop.
That's essentially what happened, isn't it?
It sounds like he's Jewish or something. Like 50 bop.
It's back.
Use Excalibur.
God, that's got to be like the most legendary circumcision in history.
King Arthur, the circumcised.
Be a bit of a different legend. A legend of King Arthur. They just don't tell you what the subtitle is, which is Circumciser.
You mean Excalibur? Nope. I really don't this time.
Oh, Jesus.
How annoying would that be? Because like the fact they realised by sticking the sword back in, it undoes dark magic. So imagine some events after that story. How many times you got Arthur just insert the sword and take it out? So yeah, just undoing the magic now.
You got the evil wizard Morgana who's like, and I will destroy you, Arthur. What are you doing with that sword?
It's like,
yeah.
Just imagine he has the stone just on his way to his bedroom. He just every night just goes past. It's like, as into bed.
It's like that.
Yeah, you got tired of walking out to the garden, like, oh, for fuck's sake.
It's like that Limmy meme where he just sort of wakes up in the middle of the night and he's just staring at you like, what's going on? It's just the fact that he just looks at them and then just puts his sword into the stone next to him in bed, and then he just rolls over and goes back to sleep.
It's like another day. Yeah, he just never leaves his bed. It's like another day done.
It's like, my king Arthur, skeletons are invading from the north. I can't believe it. Just put this in the rock. It's fine.
Put it in the... It's like, oh, I've got it.
He doesn't even say put the sword in the stone. He just says, "Oh, put this thing in the rock." That's it. That's all he says.
Shove it on in.
Instructions unclear. Dwayne Johnson has been skewered in the courtyard.
I think it's for the best.
No more Johnson movies. No more Johnson movies.
If they ever make a remake of King Arthur, The Rock just has to be lying there as the so I think just get the sword out.
That could make sense if he was like a fucking rock golem, like an elemental or something. And he's drifting the sword, and that's why nobody can draw it.
He would never take it because he wants to be the main star of the movie. Unless, at the end, it turns out that the reason that the sword can't be pulled from the stone is because the only person who is worthy to wield the sword is the Rock, who's holding the sword from behind. So just Arthur tries to take the sword, doesn't come out of the stone, and they just sort of turn. They're about to worry, and the stone golem stands up, holds the sword, and they're like, "Oh, he's the worthy one. I see. That happened 40 years ago, and we're just a bit late to the party." And Merlin's like, "That's why it's moving, because I thought it was over there before." So that explains the giant stone golem tracks in the ground that we've seen all the time.
So stupid.
You're welcome.
Oh, this is why it's moving.
Oh, that explains why we've ended up moving Camelot 4 times to follow the sword.
Just imagining Merlin saying that, Jesus Christ. That's why. It sounds like Merlin from Shrek the Third. That's why it's... Oh, that's why.
Which brings us back to Eric Idle.
Idle, fucking hell.
Honestly, I said it's organic for years after that film. Eric Idle's the only funny part of that film, I reckon. The rest of the film is not good. And even then, his lines are funny comparatively. They're not that funny.
I would say, I know the fact I play Led Zeppelin, I always get proud because the drummer's from Redditch, and I'll never stop bragging about that. So,
Nice.
So I'm happy about that. That's 2 things from Shrek the Third that I'm happy about.
Eric Idle and the drummer from Redditch.
You bastard, you say it like that. The drummer from Redditch.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to sound so sarcastic about it. No.
Yes.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Fellow flies, I make a proclamation. I come to you today to rise up. Remove the shackles of our insect brethren. Today, we go to war. First, I shall attack this human, known to me as Sam. He shall be crushed beneath my wing, going to the great lava pool in the sky. For wing and country. Witness me.
Now we get on to the segment called What Has Rhys Been Doing? So, as Foley knows, I have finished the initial drafts of the script that we were having a little bit of a discussion with last time.
Yep.
And we won't go into detail now about potential problems or reorganisation, as I feel like doing that in the middle of the podcast wouldn't be very interesting for the listeners or Sam, as Sam doesn't really care, to be honest.
I will not miss.
Yep.
Oh, bless it.
But yep, I have done all those, and Foley has told me that he's read the first couple of pages and not the rest yet, which is fine.
I will read it though, because I like it how it's going already now.
Nice.
I like it. I like the story. And I like how messed up it is. So
You're welcome. I come up with some weird stuff. Cool. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Valentine's. Obviously, I know you two are single. What was that gesture for?
you figure it out.
Oh, God. That's terrible. Yeah.
I'm only joking. I got Crazy Frog.
You got Crazy Frog?
Yeah, I got Crazy Frog. Got Teddy. Got a massive teddy.
That's the Axel F. Foley theme. Axel F. Foley. The F is Foley. Axel Foley. Not Axel F. Foley.
Excellent Foley.
Little F Foley. What's the F stand for? Foley.
Fuck. Axel fucking Foley.
Fucking Foley.
But yes, we did a random word generator because we don't really like doing just sort of like chocolatey stuff for Valentine's, because it's a bit boring. It's basically you just go, yeah, Happy Valentine's, here's a chocolate bar. Or Happy Valentine's, here's a box of chocolates. It's not that interesting.
The way you say it, it's like you frisbee each other. So there you go. There's your chocolate.
I wouldn't, because we'd both hit each other in the head and knock each other out for 2 hours.
That's what I think you should do it.
Oh,
Thank
like
you.
a perfect Valentine's.
Nice. Thank you. But yeah, we ended up basically doing a theme, and we had 2 words. One of them was sci-fi, and the other one was goofy. I'll explain what my ones were first. So I gave it's a card game called The Crew by Cosmos. We've given it a go. It's quite fun, actually. It's quite good. That was part of the sci-fi. The part of goofy / sci-fi was I gave on DVD the Super Mario movie, which I ended up watching. I thought it was quite good. I enjoyed it. I genuinely, I really enjoyed it. But I think that a lot of the time I was this is not the Bob Hoskins one. This is the new one with Chris Pratt and Jack Black in. I thought Jack Black was fantastic in it. Charlie Day, great. Chris Pratt was in it, and Anna Taylor-Joy was really good as Princess Peach. And obviously for Goofy, there was only really one choice of movie that I could put in. Yep, that's right. I gave the Goofy movie.
Brilliant, of course. How was that?
Yeah.
I was watching that.
I haven't seen it yet. We haven't watched it yet. We watched The Return of the Pink Panther instead.
Got the wrong animal there, didn't you?
Yep, I did. But yes. So the stuff that I was given a little crocheted dragon slime. Look at him.
Aww.
He's great. That was a handmade one as well, so I'm quite appreciative of that one. It's very cute. Yeah, the audience won't be able to see that, but I'm sure that the person who draws the thumbnails is also the person who's crocheted these, so I'm sure that they will have a great time getting annoyed at me for bringing this up.
Extra work. God damn it, Rhys.
The final things I was given were 2 little Captain Scarlet figures.
Ooh.
I was given a little figure of Captain Scarlet. He's looking pretty cool, pretty fancy. Like his legs are a little bit wonky, but it's an old toy, so I can give that a rest, sort of thing. Just be careful. He's got some good posability, and he's a quite good sculpt of the face. I think it's quite nice. He looks quite normal. I would say quite normal.
You two look exactly the same.
Thank you.
Same eyebrows.
I'll take that as a
Yes,
very positive feedback, as Captain Scarlet was based off of Cary Grant. So, thank you very much for
No,
that.
I'd take that back. Actually, I think the screen was a bit fuzzy.
You motherfucker. The other one that I was given is a thing of Captain Blue, which me and my partner like to make a running joke of. They are secretly gay with each other, because half of the shit that they say, my God, it sounds like they're dating in secret. It's just it's like, be careful, Captain Scarlet. I worry about you. It's stuff like that, and they're like, oh, they're banging. They're banging.
Wait, so only because they're showing concern for each other doesn't mean they're in love. It just shows they care.
This is concern for each other in the 60s.
That's the point. Okay.
But as far as it goes, in the 60s, if you say that you're worried about another man and you're a man, you may as well be gay. Like, people did not show that kind of affection to each other in the 60s.
Oh, this one explains why. Yeah, like most fathers and sons don't really have great relationships. Like,
oh yeah, stuff like that.
So I love you, Dad. Like, no.
You cut that homosexual attitude out, boy. And that's how they would respond to you.
Want my boot again?
So many Jesus Christ.
Disclaimer: this is a joke at the expense of homophobic assholes. Thank you. Yeah, but the best part about this figure is the face of Captain Blue. He looks like he's seen some shit.
Well, when you're a Thunderbird, of course you do. He looks like,
His eyes are so wide, just staring off into the sunset like he's having a Vietnam flashback.
PTSD.
It's insane. It's just the... I have seen horrors not comprehensible by human eyes, yet I will suffer the memory of them. And Captain Scarlet's like, good God, Captain Blue, are you alright? And Captain Blue turns on just like, don't you start any of that homosexual talk with me.
It's like a homophobic.
It's only because it was a callback to what I said a minute ago.
So don't start that with show me. No wonder it's called Mr. Blue, because no one's been like that after that fucking shit.
He's just constantly depressed.
And that's probably why the other one's so wide-eyed, like, oh, here we go, this again. Oh no. I'd love to see that version of Thunderbirds.
It's not even Thunderbirds, it's Captain Scarlet, mate.
Is he? They look exactly the same to me.
It's the same company. Jerry Anderson. Yeah. It's a Jerry Anderson production.
So
they do look different. Thunderbirds' figureheads are much bigger and more expressive. But Thunderbirds is so boring, it's not even worth watching. Lots of the old Jerry Anderson stuff just on ITVX. You just got like an ad at the beginning and the end of an episode, and then you just got like a really solid episode of something. If you're watching Captain Scarlet.
Right.
If you're watching Thunderbirds, you got...
an episode.
An episode that you can put in the background and largely ignore while you play Deep Rock Galactic, and then wonder why you don't put something better on anyway. So you watch something better while you're playing Deep Rock Galactic. The final thing I wanted to say, by the way, is Sam might have seen the game, probably not, but I have recently played what I consider to be my holy grail of writing quality in games. It's the kind of game that I look up to the most.
Honeypot.
Yes, it is Honeypot, because that is my... No, it's not Honeypot. No. I have written something down because it is on the list. So the bit that I've written in advance is, it's an old game I adore, but it is on the list, so I won't speak its name. It has had an anniversary very recently, though. Like a over 20-year anniversary or something like that. However, it's not Deus Ex, but that is kind of funny. But no, and that that isn't 20 years old. That had a 10-year anniversary semi-recently. Good God. So.
The outrage inspired.
We shall now move on to Sam's segment. Sam.
But first, an intermission, because I need the toilet.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Oh, that was so good.
It's to the point where I don't know whether to leave that in or not. I think I might. Even this bit. I think it's just funny.
So perfect. But first, intermission. It's just how you're there, like, I don't know what to do. Oh, that really caught me off guard.
We've not had this problem before.
So you just like, we have some technical difficulties. Please bear with.
I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let this bit play while he's having a piss.
Oh, bless him. I wonder how long he's been holding it in for.
He could have left at any point that I was making my speech. Just message me. Oh, he's back.
Hello.
Hello. You could have just messaged me and said I need the toilet and gone while I was rambling about random shit.
I could have done,
Could have
but I didn't.
And I'm leaving all of this in. So, Sam, now that you're back and the intermission is over,
I'm back.
What was the name of the game?
The name of the game was The Bard's Tale.
Indeed.
Can anybody guess what the main character of The Bard's Tale is called?
Bad.
What did you call him?
Yeah?
Oh, no. Is it bad? I don't know.
Yeah, he's just a bard.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Bard? I think said Bad Tail, sorry.
No. That's
Oh,
just...
my hearing's going. So is it, his name just Bard?
Anyway, he's the Bard. Yeah.
Yep.
The bar.
So, The Bard's Tale is a top-down RPG, which you play as the Bard, and you kind of, you can do melee fighting, you can do ranged attacks, but for the most part, you kind of summon creatures and allies, and you go through the world with those. The Bard is kind of like a sarcastic prick, which is great. He's motivated by money, women, and wine, primarily. The order varies. And so you can use like a sword and a shield. You can use dual wielding, you can have 200 weapons, you can use a bow. I kind of ignored most of those and just used a bow for the entire playthrough, which I think is probably one of the worst decisions you can make.
Entire playthrough? Did you complete the game?
I did. I completed the game.
Wow.
Yeah, the first time.
That means one of the reviews is actually relevant. Good to know.
Oh, nice.
I have played this game. I played it for about 2 hours and then I stopped.
That's fair.
Not because I didn't enjoy it, just because I stopped.
Yeah.
Lazy boy.
Yeah, it's long. I'll get to that later.
How long did it take you to complete it?
Once I've summarized the story, I'll tell you. You can compare the content of the story to the content of the game.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. So the setting is kind of like, it's sort of like generic fantasy, but it's got like heavy sort of Scottish or Celtic sort of influences. Everybody's got Scottish or Irish accents except for the Frenchman. And there's Kunal Frau, which are like kind of fayish goblins, which most of the time they just act like regular goblins, but some of them can like cast magic and put Geist on you.
Geist.
Yeah. Geist, that's right. That's how they pronounce it. Geas. Yeah. Also there's druids.
Oh no, not the druids.
Yeah, the druids are back. And also Draugr, very Celtic. And there's some brass Romans.
Romans?
Very cool. That's right, brass Romans. Or at least they look Romanish. And they talk like they're inside a tin can the entire time.
The quality sounds top notch.
Oh yeah. It's fun. So it's an RPG, so you've got quite a bit of dialogue where you have two decisions typically, which is happy face and angry face. And those mostly just give you different dialogue, but occasionally they have things actually happen as a result, such as the bard getting laid. But for the most part, yeah, it's just different dialogue. Yeah, the game is a comedy. It's kind of parodying normal RPGs to some extent. So in the game, you start off in town, you kind of dick around for a bit. You first tavern you go to, you dick about again, and you get to listen to a bunch of drunks singing a very nice song about the man who invented beer. It's great. They sound like a trio of like drunks singing it. It's wonderful. It's like 3 minutes long, and there's like, it's got a subtitle on the bottom and like a little ball that bounces along and highlights the syllables as they're being sung, like a karaoke game. It's great.
That's quite cool, actually.
Yeah, it's fun. It was nice when they stuff in it. You can get a dog that joins your party. He's the best tank in the game. He looks like a little tiny Jack Ross, and his tail is just constantly wagging at max speed. It's fucking great. He's the best tank because he dies fairly easily, but he just like gets back up again after a little bit. Like everybody else, have to resummon and cost a lot of mana and stuff like that. But yeah, so
Dag
in the first place,
sorry, Sam throws his dog at enemies confirmed.
Yeah, it goes a lot better in game than it would IRL with my dogs.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
First down. Yep, first down. You're dicking around. Some guy from some sort of order comes along, gives you a spell to summon something, tells you where you can find another one, and then points you to another town and tells you to speak to another member of his order called Bodh. That's BODB. Yeah. So you go to the other town, Kirkwall, and you can stumble across a body there, and if you loot it, then 3 Cunord Frau run up, and they sing you a nice 3-minute song about how it's bad luck to be you, and you're a shameless thief. And then they just run off again. It's so good. Yeah, but then you go find Bodh, and he tells you to find Bodh. He takes you to meet Bodh. He takes you to meet the second Bodh. He takes you to a door, and all 4 Bodhs sing at that, and you go in. And then you go with Bodh to cast a communication spell, so that you can speak with a princess who's locked in a tower away somewhere, and that's what the order wants you to do. Go and find her. So the 5 Bodhs cast a ritual. That was one more Bodh than I said previously, by the way, which is the case. And you summon an image of her, and they do it by singing really discordantly and out of tune. And they also ring a bell, but they don't have the bell. One of them gambled it away, so you got to go retrieve it. And you do that by avoiding marriage and murdering an old angry horse. There you go. So you go back, speak with the princess, and she motivates Bard to free her by flirting with him. And effectively, she tells him to go find a flute and go to a tower and kill the guy at the top of it and put out a flame. Yeah, pretty cool. So Bard then goes, kills about 300 Cunord Frau trying to get some flute.
300 what?
So damn long. He kills about 300 of the Trau. It's ridiculous. You just going through this park that they've taken over, and you just kill so many as you're going through. He says, the things I do for lust. It's great. Did I mention at any point that that you're constantly just trading jibes and jabs with the narrator? He's narrating the entire thing.
The narrator is Tony J. He's one of the same people who did Legacy of Kain stuff as well.
He's got a very kind of like a sort of grandfatherly proper sort of voice. You know what I mean? Well, you could probably describe it better, but yeah.
He's also in Time Bandits, and he's Frollo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yep. So then, an hour later, you go into the tower, kill the guy at the top.
Yep.
And the princess reveals that there's actually 2 more towers you need to go to, and each of them need a special instrument to access. And the bard says something like, "Does the term vicious cycle mean anything to you?" And he gets ignored from English. There's some great lines in this. So then you then finish up there. You head back to Kirkwall to speak with Bodh, and it turns out the dead horse you killed was in a sacred stone circle, and the farmer you got the bell from, he's now merged with the dead horse and become the Knucklevi, which is an undead skinless blade-armed centaur, and now the town is overrun with undead. While everybody's running around in panic, you go and speak to Bodh, who's been attacked by the Knucklevi, and Bard says, "Bodh, don't die until you tell me the location of the tomb. Until I can get you help." Great.
Oh my God.
And then, unfortunately, Bodh dies just before he can give the location up. Except he doesn't. He wakes back up, and he gives a speech about how Bard should stop interrupting him and just let him tell him the location because he's only got so many words left until death. And he takes so long doing that he then dies before he can tell him. Except he doesn't. He wakes back up again and he tells him. And then the Bard leaves without doing anything to help the situation.
Oh my God.
Cam's just in chaos behind him. Billions. Great. So yeah, you go to the next tower. Along the way, you help a Draugr get to Valhalla, and you unsuccessfully flirt with a Valkyrie. You take out the second guardian of the tower, who was the brass Roman dude, with his legion of brass Romans who sound just like him, but they're much smaller. And after doing that, you speak to the princess again. She tells you to find a guy called Dugan in Downby,
Dugan.
And down B, Dogan. I think it's
Dogan,
Dogan, actually.
Cool.
But yeah. The Dogan, not Dogan. Down B is like it's kind of like Brie, but a lot bigger, if you know what I mean? Like a sort of depressing something or other era. And it's been taken over by the druids who kind of been ambushing you throughout the game, trying to stop you from releasing the Princess Calais. And in a tavern here, there's another karaoke style song, which is it's on a stage. You can get up and join them and like play your lute. It's great, and it's a song about the Knuckle-V and how stupid whoever set it free is, which is the bard. It's great. It's like, oh Knuckle-V, you're big and evil and heinous. Who could it be who set you free? He really must be an anus. Great. As it says that last bit, it just focuses on the bard. He's just like, it's so good. It's actually a pretty fun song to listen to. I looked it up on YouTube.
It sounds like a blast, to be honest.
It is fun, yeah. With some caveats, I'll say more later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, not in that tavern, I think. I think it might be in that tavern. Yeah. You find Dogan, and he tells you to go find a fellow called Macrath, who can tell you where the Shadow Axe is, which is the final instrument you need to get into the final tower.
Instrument? Was it like a guitar, or is it an actual axe?
Yeah, it's an electric guitar.
I thought it would be,
yeah. On the way to going to Macrath, your dog, you're ambushed by a bunch of druids, and one of them has a pet that he's borrowed, which is a flying thing, which just squishes the dog. And he's dead now. He's just like laid out on the floor. He's just fucking dead.
No!
It's so sad.
Does the dog die.com the bark's tale?
Don't fully look it up just yet. Don't worry, it's it.
Okay.
It might spoil Yep. So, yeah, you then find Macrath and you kill the Knuckle-V who's attacking him. It's actually pretty easy and what's what the fuss is all about. Unfortunately, the guy he's unintelligible, also known as Scottish. So you have to take him back to Dogan. He can tell you what he's saying, but Dogan kind of like underplays it because Macrath is saying like his family dungeon is completely overrun with undead. One of them has got the Shadow Axe, whereas Dogan says, "Oh yeah, go to his dungeon and get the Shadow Axe. Oh, also there's some undead warriors." And the bard's like, "Undead warriors? How many? Few. A score. Well, which one is it? A few or a score? There's quite a difference. A few score. Never mind that." It's great. Everyone's just so like weird and blasé about it. I love it. Also, in the first town, there's if you're walking around, you can bump into people, and most of the time they just apologize. Oh, sorry. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, that sort of thing. But if you do it enough, you can bump into one old guy who's like, "Oh, sorry. Actually, no. You spent your entire time here bumping into people. I want an apology." And you can either apologize to him, or you can be like, "Nah, fuck that," and leave. And if you don't apologize, he shows up again at this point again, like 8 hours later, in this random dungeon infested with undead, and he's like, I knew I'd find it. I want my apology." So good.
Does he do anything there, or is he just? Does he just turn up?
He's just waiting there in the room, I think, in the first room.
Just waiting in the dungeon.
So good. But yeah, so then you go through this nice grindy dungeon filled with a trillion undead. That's the most part you just kill them, but there's one point where you go into a room and there's a group of skeletons and a group of zombies that are having like a dance off. Enter the skeletons and like, "You got served!" And the bard's like, "What the hell?" And then they turn and you start fighting. But yeah.
A dead crowd.
Yeah, it's nice. You stumble into another room and there's a skull that's just there, all suspicious. The bard's like, he's waiting for it to jump scare him. And then it does, and he gets scared. Great. And the skull says something along the lines of, "There's somebody on the other side that wants to see you, and I won't let you leave until you summon him because I'm curious." And he says, "Just like the torches, and we'll see what happens." The bard's just like, "Well, fuck that." But he didn't know. It really got me when he said that, because it was just much more succinct, and it was great. And yeah, you do that, and you summon. Any guesses? Any guesses what you summon from back beyond the grave?
Is it the
Dog.
guy from earlier? Oh, is it the
It's
dog?
the dog. Yeah, it's the dog. I was so happy when that happened.
Oh, that's
Yes,
really
someone-
cool.
Yeah, he summoned you as a ghost. You can see it's like skeleton. His tail's just wagging furiously. It's great.
That's why you didn't want me to look at that.
Yeah. I was really happy with that.
That's
Oh,
quite sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah. And you get the Shadow Axe in a nice, long, laborious boss fight. You head on to the next place. I'm skipping a lot of busy work and grinding through enemies, effectively. The next place is overrun with Krauger, i.e. undead Norse fellas that are just infinitely spawning. You kill one, another one appears, type of thing. And the reason undead are appearing everywhere is because it's because the world's going to hell. And Princess Calais is the only one that can stop the evil people that have her imprisoned. Yeah, so yeah, stakes and all. And there's this crazy guy there, he's a shopkeeper, and he says something along the lines of, "Special deal today only, buy this instrument today and I'll throw in a piece of music that I found in the dead body of some kid who wanted in town not so long ago for free." Dun 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 dun. uh, I had to play that back several times so I could write it down properly, and I loved it each time. This guy's so fucking bombastic and nuts. It's great.
that's actually perfect.
Yeah. And then you do some more traveling. You go into some mines that lead you to the tower, which is on an island or something. And the narrator says something along the lines of, "Certain death awaited around every corner. A violent and messy death at the hands of demented subterranean denizens." The bard says, "Certainly hope you're exaggerating. It's more wishful thinking than anything else." Great. And the bard's like, "Nah." Yeah. The narrator is just like, this guy is just dumb. Yeah, go. You kill the final boss, the final guardian of the third tower. I can't even remember. I think it was just like some sort of elemental or something. I think he like summon tornadoes or some crap. But yeah, then Princess Calais appears, not physically, like her image, summons a little flame ray thing, and that gives you a ride back to the final tower, which is actually in Downby, that one place where Dogan was, which was overrun by druids. And there's another tower. And the bard's like, "What the fuck?" He said, "There's three." She's like, "No, actually," I said, "take this three out and you can free me. I'm in this tower now. Come and get me," effectively.
Can we get me?
Yeah. The bard's kind of getting like tired of the whole stringing along thing, but she's also like flirting with him, saying "my love" and stuff. And yeah, he's fairly happy with that for now. Yeah.
For now.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to the final tower.
Yeah.
It's got like 16 floors, but unlike the other towers and like every other fucking level in the game, it's not a massive sprawling place with a trillion enemies. It's just one small room with like 30 enemies in. 30 enemies is just not a lot. Compared to everything else, it's not a lot. And yeah, it's just one sort of group of enemy or type of enemy, or pair of enemy per level. Kind of going through like a gauntlet of the game's enemies so far, type thing. And that's nice and short compared to the rest. You get to the top, and it's pretty much the end of the game. So you head on in. Yep.
It's the man there demanding an apology still.
I would love it if that happened. You come in, there's like Finnak, who's the big main druid in the background. Calais is like suspended in the shield in the middle, and then this guy just sets his throne. He's like, "Yo, tell him my apology." Oh, I would love that.
It's like the bit from Shrek was like, "He's climbed the tallest tower in the darkest of depths, all so that you can give him an apology." I'm sorry you had to go through that. No, an apology about shoving me.
So yeah, you head on in, and Finnak, i.e. the main druid, he tells the bard that Calais, Princess Calais, is actually a demonic ruler that wants to take over the world and was sealed away 1,000 years ago, and that actually she is the reason things are going to hell because you've been sort of loosening the restraints placed upon her. And now Finnak is the only one keeping her locked away. So I called this before the end because they leave enough clues for it. So it's not like it's just bullshit that comes out of there. By the mid-end to the third tower, I was convinced this was what's going to happen. And I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah.
And that's not because I'm incredibly clever, which is true. It's because it's well telegraphed.
Thank you.
So yeah, the Finnick tells you this. Calais tries persuading you, and you get the choice of who to side with, effectively. So there's 3 endings. You can ask your summons who are with you. There's about 5 of them by the end, depending on if you get extra items that get you more. But you can ask them for advice on what to do, which is actually pretty cool, because normally they just have like these 3 or 4 voice lines they just yell throughout the game. But here they actually have, like, in the same voices, they actually have dialogue where they actually speak to you. It's actually really cool. It would have been nice if they did that throughout the game.
Just ask them for help or tips of where you need to go next, or advice.
Yeah, that would be cool. You do that. There's 3 endings. There's what I like to call the cultured ending. There's the based ending, and there's the Sigma ending. So the cultured ending is where the bard goes, okay, well, that's all and good, but since she's hot and you're not, and picks Calais, so you, and Finnick's like, you really are an idiot. It's great. But yeah, so you side with Calais, you kill Finnick, and Calais frees and reveals that Finnick was actually telling the truth, and she is a demon. She transforms into her true form, which is like a big sort of cloven-hooved, like long taloned, horns, like demonic lady. And the bard's like, oh crap, that dead guy was right. The thing is, though, she wasn't lying about loving you, and she princess carries bard off into the rainy sunset as the rest of the world goes to hell and gets overrun by undead. And they live happily ever after. And the screen fades away into, when it's like the black closes in, it's like a little heart in the middle. It does that. It's great. There you go.
PowerPoint presentation ending.
Yeah. So that's the cultured ending.
Yeah.
There's the based
Love it.
ending. The based ending, which is where Var goes, if I look deep into my heart, I can come to only one logical conclusion. Never trust a woman. So yeah, you go, you fight and defeat Calais in hell or something. I don't think he's actually there, because like you finish the fight and then he like wakes up in the room. So I think it's your spirit maybe fine. Who knows? But yeah, you saved the world. You fuck off, and you just kind of return to being a dick that goes around scamming people by summoning rats in taverns and stuff like that. There you go.
And the Sigma ending? How is that?
Sigma ending. The Sigma ending is where you go, all right, I've considered both your points, and I don't choose you, Finnick. It's like, you're choosing her? He's like, no, I didn't say that either. He's like, well, who did you choose? And the bard says, I choose me. You choose you? It's like, well, what the hell does that mean? Calais in a really posh princess voice. And the bard effectively says, yeah, I'm not doing this shit. I'm just going to leave. You guys can do whatever.
After all that.
Legend.
Yeah.
That's
Calais
the ending
goes,
I go.
yeah, Calais turns into a demon mode and is like, come back, you disloyal fool, and bow before your queen. And Finnick's like, come back, you respited fool, and kill your queen. But that's great. But, like, you two have control issues. And just leave.
You just walk off your dead dog.
He just leaves, he heads straight to the nearest tavern, where he just parties with undead. Because Calais isn't free, but she's not dead, so the word's still going to hell. But yeah, the undead apparently know her party pretty well, so yeah, worked out.
I
Nice.
think that
Yeah.
ending is probably the best. I like that.
Yeah.
I do like that ending. That's the funniest one.
Yeah, that's great.
So
yeah.
what are your 4 words to rate the film?
My 4 words.
We'll go by story and then with your caveats afterwards. I'm curious to see if it was just the story, what would the 4 words be?
If it was just the story, yeah. That's not one of the words.
Damn. I was hoping to get you
Yeah.
on that one. Yeah. Oh, that's your 4 words? Yeah.
Fun story, good time.
Fun story, good times. Now,
Yep.
do you want to explain what the caveats are?
The caveats are primarily the story took me 15 hours to complete.
Ooh.
And that's not necessarily a problem. It's just that the majority of that time, like 3/4, maybe like 4/5, was just grinding through dungeon after dungeon effectively.
I feel like for a
yeah.
proper CRPG, that's probably a bit of a mean term, but for a proper one, something like Baldur's Gate or something like that, I think that sort of length or longer is fine.
Yeah.
The problem with The Bard's Tale, in comparison, I think, is because it's a comedy game, it feels longer because you're wanting the comedy more than necessarily the gameplay, and there's longer times when you're grinding and fighting between the comedy, if that makes sense.
I think it's definitely the comedy part and more just the proportion of combat to like character interaction story, and it being kind of concentrated in certain parts where you got character interaction, story bits, and then you do combat for like a fucking hour straight, and then you have the next bit. Yeah. When I say dungeon, I mean like every combat level is what I'm referring to as a dungeon because they're effectively all dungeons, even if they're open air. Where it's just one or maybe two enemy types, and you just kill them over and over and over and over for the entire area. Maybe the next area will have different ones, or maybe it won't. Who knows? I think I hampered it quite a bit by just doing the fucking bow. But I kind of made the choice because I was like, okay, it's a game where you summon stuff, right? And they're supposed to be the primary combatants. So I'm gonna max out my rhythm stat, which buffs the summons, and I'm gonna go with a bow so that they can just do their thing, and I'll just be there to support them effectively.
Right.
And the issue is melee weapons all scale on strength. Bow is dex, and that's the only thing that works with dex. So I've kind of locked into using the bow, and the bow is normal attack, which doesn't really work for me at least. I'm not sure if it's something specific to my setup or if the game just drops mouse inputs. It's like every other time I click, it would just not do it, so it wasn't reliable. So I'd have to use either charge shot, which you hold it down and then you let go and stuff, which was sorry. And there's the supercharged shot, which you hold it down for a while, it flashes, and then you shoot 3, and that's like a 3 or 4 second charge up. And that's what I used for pretty much the entire game, because the other two weren't really reliable enough. And yeah, I think that exacerbated how long it took.
Yeah,
it's
that
quite
does make
funny.
sense.
So you know, in some games, how they have the thing where like enemies off screen, they like reduce the frame rate.
Yeah.
Or like in Dark Souls 2, when enemies are really far away, you can see them moving around as if they're like in a slideshow, because it's just chopping out the frames they have for performance reasons.
Yeah.
They do in the Bard Tale, except instead of cutting out frames, they just slow the frame rate, which slows the rate the enemies move at. And also, the definition the game has for being off screen is very different from mine. So I haven't changed. I didn't have a super high resolution or anything. There isn't a resolution setting on this version of it, so I was just rolling with what it came with. So I could look around, enemies would be on the screen, slowly moving towards me. And also, they're on the mini-map before they're on the screen, so you can see them slowly inching their way over. Instead of getting to you in like 4 seconds, it takes like 40. So with the bow, which has very strong auto-aim, you can just sit there and just fire at shit off screen.
What?
Completely safe for the most part. And just use it the entire way. It's just so stupid. And yeah, I did that sometimes. But it takes forever, so...
Yeah, I can imagine.
Not need that now.
I mean, would you recommend this game to anybody?
Yeah, I'd say so. It was fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I never asked what the 4 words were with the caveats. Go on.
4 words with the caveat would be fun writing disproportionate length.
Wow, that's a fancy word. Disproportionate.
I like the game. I got those voice clips that I can play for you.
I mean, sure, go for the voice clips.
So, I want you to guess which one of these is said by the healer.
Sucker! Healers! Be healed!
So, which one or 2 of those, 3 of those, do you think was said by the healer?
2 of them had the word heal in it. Is it be healed?
Wrong. It's all of them.
It's all.
Oh, it's good.
Thank you.
So fucking loud in game. It's ridiculous. And there's something really weird. Thanks. There's something really weird about how the game chooses which voice to play, because it just seems to pick a character and then only do theirs for like 40 minutes straight. So just going along and then. So yeah, great. Thanks, lady. She's a hag, by the way.
I had a feeling she would be like a witch or a hag or something.
It's great. It's just really funny seeing you get healed and then
Sucker!
okay. You're saying sucker, by the way, not sucker.
I figured that was the case, don't worry.
Yeah.
What you saying, sucker? Sucker.
Ah, yeah.
The game
That's it.
sounds
Oh.
mad.
Yeah. One last complaint. It's the Bard's Tale, right?
Yeah.
You got music in taverns where people sing along.
Yeah.
And there's a refund. You've got the little tunes you play to when you summon people.
Yeah.
And dissummon them. And that's kind of it for the music. There's no like ambient music
There's no
for the
ambient.
dungeon. Not really. Not like maybe a couple of levels, like when the Knuckle of the is taking down Kirkwall, I think there might be some then. But like for the vast majority of gameplay, you're just going along with just generic dungeon ambient sounds. And that adds to how bloody long the levels feel.
Good Christ.
But yeah.
Okay.
Overall, I enjoyed it.
Nice. We'll
Yeah.
get to your rating in a moment.
Yeah.
First, we'll do Foley's rating, see what he reckons. So, back to Quest for Camelot. I know that was a while ago.
Yeah.
What would you rate the story out of 5 for Quest for Camelot?
I'll probably give it, I want to say about a 3.
I was thinking 3 would be the answer to that. That's what I reckon. That's probably what I'd put for that as well.
Yeah, it could be better.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the story is just there for being there.
It's just, yeah, it's pretty much just a retelling of King Arthur, but it's the fact it's not King Arthur, or it's not in the stone. So
That's
it's just,
true.
it's just a different take on the story. But it could have been better. Yeah.
Design.
Probably say like a 3 again.
3, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, say 3.
And character.
I would say probably about 4, because I feel I did enjoy them.
5 out of 4.
What?
You said 5 out of 4, didn't you?
No, I said 4.
You did 5 out of 4, I'm afraid.
Did I?
You said 5 out of 4. 4 out of 5.
Oh,
That's
dear.
fine. 4 out of
I've
5.
had too much chocolate. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'd say 4, because I think I enjoyed the characters. They had a lot of positives to the characters, to be honest. So yeah, I'd say that I enjoyed that the most compared to
Nice.
everything else.
Cool. I realised that I was told to elaborate a little bit more on the rating scale. What I do with the rating is it's 3 sets of 5s, which make a total of out of 15. So obviously for the film, it's out of 5 for the story, out of 5 for the design, and out of 5 for the character. And conversely for the game, it's out of 5 for the story, as they both share that, out of 5 for gameplay, as that one is specific to the game, and out of 5 for the design. And both of them are rated out of 15, just because I think that's a bit more of an interesting metric than just out of 5 or out of 10. You can add a bit more depth, and it makes the scores more interesting in the grand scheme of things. So it's 10 out of 15 for Quest for Camelot. About average for story and design. Character, above average. Quite good. Making it a 10 out of 15. So A Bard's Tale. Given what we've heard of the story, I have an inkling for what you might say for it, but I'm going to let you say it first before I say whether I reckon that's what you thought or not. What do you reckon for story then?
I went with a 4.
4 is exactly what I thought you were
Yep.
going to say for story, yeah.
It's not perfect, but it's a fun story.
Nice.
I think I dropped it from F5 because they kind of do that thing where they it's not quite lampshading. It's where they like poke fun at something by doing it. So it's like, yeah, it's a really boring trope. Yeah, go do that for half an hour. It's like, okay, sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Gameplay. How was the gameplay?
Gameplay. I'm gonna give the gameplay a 4, I'd say.
A
I'm
4.
throwing the level design elsewhere.
That is different to what I thought for what you were going to rate. I thought you were going to give it a 2. So
Nah.
4 for the gameplay. Wow.
I did try the melee for like half an hour after I finished last night on the story, and yeah, the melee stuff seems pretty decent. It's got tactics and shit to it. It's got
Right.
time blocks and stuff like that. Don't know how it plays in the game, but hey.
So the design. When
Yeah.
you've mentioned the level design, so I'm going to imagine you're rating it lower.
Mm-hmm.
What is your
Yep.
rating for design?
So my main complaint for design was pretty much the level design. Everything else I can chalk up to his age. So yeah, I wanted the 3.
3. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
No, I enjoyed the game.
nice. That brings the
Quite a lot.
total to an 11. You have rated it exactly the same as Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. All right.
I'm sure people will be delighted about that.
You know what? I enjoyed it more.
You enjoyed it more than
Yeah,
Metal Gear Solid? Wow.
It wasn't infuriating at part. So that's a positive.
Nice. So
It did sound like you had a lot more fun with this one. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So that means that this week we have an 11 and a 10. It sounds like you both enjoyed what you were given quite a bit this time, rather than, hating one and loving one, which tends to be the theme, to be honest. Because you didn't like Doom, but Foley had an enjoyment of the Magnificent Seven, and Foley despised Cobra, and you quite liked Metal Gear Solid. I wonder if we can keep up the consistency, but frankly, I do not know. We'll find out soon.
But I was
Now-
quite surprised myself how much I enjoyed Christopher Camelot. I thought I despised it like I did.
I was really curious about that because I had no idea whether or not you would or wouldn't like it. I could definitely see reasons you might and might not, was the thing. Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll get into some of these steady reviews. We have
yeah.
the first route, but we'll go with the Bard's Tale first. I don't know if we normally do the video game first, but let's do the video game first one this time.
Let's do the video game.
Let's do the video game first. Yeah. I think last time we did Cobra second because of the review I really wanted to do. Cool. So the first ones are from IMDb. We have this one by Gregory Palmer 49843. This is a 10 out of 10 review. One of my favourites of all time. And I believe this is one of the only 2 reviews I could find of it on IMDb. I just ran through The Bard's Tale again in the last few days of 2022. I usually choose Finianak at the end, but I like having multiple options.
Yeah.
That is the thing. Now, the bit about this that got me is the fact that I was like, towards a part of the end. I'll skip over some of the rest of this, but it says, Tony J has passed away, so the narrator would have to be different. I know it's almost impossible to replace Tony J, but surely someone would want the position. How about Ricky Gervais? No.
Yeah.
Steve Merchant might be better.
That is exactly what I
that could
said.
work.
That was what I said to my partner. I said Stephen Merchant would be great because the sarcasm with Stephen Merchant would be so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I think I did understate how much the narrator had to it.
Honestly, the narrator does a lot of work.
Great.
I remember the sarcasm from the narrator is so strong,
Yeah.
which is why I think Ricky Gervais would
Am
not work.
I reading this right? You're robbing her when you loot some widow's house at the beginning.
This is why I think Stephen Merchant, the sass and sarcasm of Stephen Merchant, would work much better than the Ricky Gervais one. Because the Ricky Gervais one always comes off to me as mean-spirited in his comedy. But Stephen Merchant just sounds constantly confused in his own speaking, which is why I think it'd just be funny. Like, he's a very clever man. I've seen lots of his stuff, and I've read into some of the stuff that he's done. But he always has this air of he doesn't understand why he's saying what he's saying, which is why I think he'd be a fantastic narrator. And he's already been in video games because he was Wheatley, and he was fantastic as Wheatley in Portal 2.
Perfect.
Amazing casting, which is why I think he'd work really well for this. ARPG is making a comeback. Pay attention, marketing people who like money. As that's in caps at the end. This is the only other review I have on IMDb, which is an 8 out of 10. So as a result, I had to look elsewhere for the more negative ones. The Bard is the kind of genre-savvy snarker that could only be created with the cynical insight of a brilliant games industry and gaming veteran. This is one of the most hilarious games around the memorable quotes section, represents just the tip of the monumental iceberg of wit. Though the gameplay doesn't shine, it also doesn't take nearly as many hours as the original games.
The 80s versions, I guess.
Yes, very old. This one is by a gentleman called Encathlin07. I realise I forgot to mention their name at the beginning. That is the only other IMDb review I had. So I went looking a little bit elsewhere for some reviews. I have one from RPGcodex.net. This one is by Roll-Player. I got a specific part of this to read. What was meant to be a searing hot stab of fun into the genre carried by a light-hearted tone, quickly turns into a formulaic adventure at best and a mediocre action RPG at worst, with a character who's quick to recognise the genre's cliches but slow to overcome them. The game had many reasons to succeed, with an original premise and the production values to pull it off.
Yeah, he very much echoed what I said about the recognising premise and just doing it.
Yeah. One only needs to look at games like Grim Fandango, Discworld, and Anachronax as excellent examples of actual intelligent humour handled by competent developers. There's not a lot here that saves the game from being a rather generic and shallow action romp. And even with free endings and unlockable content, you're still looking at a 10-hour main quest that only has simplistic combat to offer. In the end, the only punchline that the Bard's Tale ever manages to get right is that the derivative design and boring gameplay can't be forgiven by intentions to improve the genre or puerile humour. I don't think they like the game.
No. Shouldn't be complaining, they only had 10 hours, actually 15.
The review was so hyped, so mediocre. I don't think they liked it.
At least they put it in the 4 words for us.
This one is for a slightly different version of it. This one is for the one that they did for the App Store. They did an iPhone port for this. Yeah, they did a port for the iPhone in 2011 at the very least. As this when this review was out, is by a gentleman called Eric Ford. The extra I've got is, for those who haven't played it before, The Bard's Tale follows the story of the unnamed protagonist as he gets swept away in a story rife with RPG cliches and humour. Even though the game hardly ever takes itself seriously, the writing and humour remain well done, and also the stars of the game. The voice acting also deserves a special mention, with Carrie Yules of Princess Brideflame as the voice of the Bard. There are some that may roll their eyes at the sarcastic humour, but I believe that it's actually a big part of the appeal, and too many games take themselves way too seriously these days. The next one, I've got some extracts from a GameSpot review that rated it 6.7, which is like the first one or the second one. I think we'll just do the one. Second one. Yep, cool. The Bard's Tale has some genuinely good ideas, but much of its execution falls short. The funny stuff isn't as funny as it needs to be, and at its apex, it's just kind of amusing. It's certainly not an out-and-out failure, but in light of the legacy created by its namesake and the previous landmarks in the genre, The Bard's Tale is a disappointment. And that is quite a scathing end bit, and they still rated it higher than Quest for Camelot in the end. That's a 6.7. How scathing does that review sound?
Jesus Christ. Someone's having a bad day.
I've got 2 very short reviews from Metacritic. One is 58, which is, if you're a real RPG junkie, which I freely admit I am, the fresh, irreverent, humorous tone of The Bard's Tale may be entertaining enough for you to ignore the fact that it's sitting on top of a pretty mundane, flat game experience. That was an average one. And then 42, the only review that I could find that was genuinely, as a review, with a score very low, which was its sardonic take on typical gaming conventions is thwarted by its own weak design, and its tongue-in-cheek humour falls more often than it succeeds. Laughter might be the best medicine, but a bad joke is the worst ailment.
So, regarding the humour, there weren't too many times where I properly laughed, but there weren't any times where I just found the jokes completely unfunny either. They always do
smile on your face.
Yeah, good job, mate. Yeah.
And now we got the Quest for Camelot reviews. These reviews are a lot less positive. This review is by Ravenblood88, and it is titled Boring.
That sounds hardcore already, that name. Ravenblood.
Yes. The stars out of 10. What do you think that is rated, Foley?
They definitely put it as 1, but they want to put it as 0.
Foley's bang on. It's a 1.
Oh, wow.
1 out of 10. It starts off with, well, I finally saw it, and boy, it was nothing to sneeze at.
That sounds to me like they've been bad to watch it for ages.
Yep.
They're bitter.
Now, I tried to give it a chance, I really did. Being a big fan of animated musicals, I tend to enjoy films of this genre. Bear that first line in mind for a moment. They were like, now for the positive side. I must say I thought the two-headed dragon was hilarious. However, the main characters were bland and lacked proper chemistry. Kaylee was drastically out of place with the story. A whole, I want to be a warrior rant reminded me of Taran from the Black Cauldron. Ladies were not knights, and did not sit with the men at the round table, and no woman dressed like she did at the time.
Well.
No.
Here we go.
I'm just going to leave it at that. That,
Uh,
don't worry, this review annoys me more in a different thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And they were there like, Garrett was the most boring, angsty piece of wood. It hurt. Wow. Ruber, the villain, was a lame, inept villain who lacked a good motive. It was lame.
It was lame.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're expecting from this, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
But you just bear in mind, they said, being a big fan of animated musicals, I tend to enjoy films of this genre. And in the second paragraph, it says, and the songs came out of nowhere. I mean, 1 minute we have Kaylee's dad telling her about Camelot. The next, the knights are parading and singing to Arthur's castle. Yeah, that totally happens in real life.
you realise it's a fantasy film, right? Oh, okay.
They go on to say, I know animated musicals have songs, but they're usually better done and fit in with the storyline. What, you mean like talking about King Arthur's court and then going to the knights singing about King Arthur's court?
I love the fact they said, yeah, because this totally doesn't happen in real life. Well, it's not a cartoon.
It's not real. I just want to point out, the animation smelled.
Just smell animation.
That's what they said. And the plot, oh boy, did these people even try and base it on the book it's supposed to originally from? But what they've said is, the plot is weak, watered down, and lame. They like the word lame, don't they?
Yeah, they're like oh boy as well.
I know the book was adult, but they could have made a kid's safe version of it. It's just the thing that they say is Arthur and Merlin are in this for all of 10 minutes max. And that's because King Arthur's court is the setting, not the main characters of the story. That is the difference.
So the house at the end where it says just knighted. What about they followed the book? Or no, that just
No, no, in the book he's dead.
oh.
In the book, he's got a horrible poison, and they need to quickly quest to get the Holy Grail in order to bring him back to life, or stop him from dying. And he says, no, instead of coming back to life, I'm going to cure my blindness just so I can see you. And then he calls her beautiful like 10 times and dies.
What's that?
Yeah. Like,
I wouldn't
Like,
mind.
just,
That's
you know,
quite funny,
weirdly rub your hands all over her face and be like, oh yeah, I can feel that you're beautiful.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah, they said the only really catchy song in the film was If I Didn't Have You. And the only really beautiful song was The Prayer. But yeah, case in point, don't waste your time. It's quite forgettable. I would say less than half of the people who read this review found it helpful. So 15 out of 38 found it helpful. So most people do not agree with this. It's just, they come off as such a smug arsehole. And I know I can come off as that a lot, but
it's just like, when you look at this film, like, what are you expecting? Like, seriously.
it's a kid's film.
It's a
Like,
kid's film.
don't go in expecting there to be like a high level of...
And to be realistic,
Yeah.
it's like,
This is a kid's Disney-esque movie, not Lord of the Rings.
no. Yeah. It makes me wonder what animation films
They talk about Thumbelina and Anastasia in the bottom.
They're way
That's
too.
pretty sick, though, isn't it?
This next
I haven't
review...
seen that.
I haven't seen it for like 10 years, but I remember it being pretty cool.
I haven't seen it for a while either, but I remember it. I remember the green colour in it.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. This review is by Rebel Gen, and it's called I Won't Be Taking This Quest Again. And it is a 2 out of 10.
What a rebel.
Quest for Camelot is an animated children's film about 2 children who are on a mission to save Camelot. I have said that the way it is spelt. This film is set in the days of King Arthur. Generally, this is a poor attempt in an adventure animation film. There is nothing special about this film at all. I found the whole film particularly dull and a chore to sit through. Dull story, dull characters, dull songs. There is also nothing special about the animation. Although, it is not a great film either. The Sword and the Stone was fun, and I did enjoy this as a child, though not as much as an adult. I certainly will not be taking this quest again.
Oh,
That's actually really quite sad, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you still love this as a child. No, I despise it.
It's like, oh, you sad
Like,
bastard.
kept going. This was bad. This part was also bad, and this bad. It wasn't particularly good.
Yeah.
But I think
As the quick aside, it's called Quest for Camelot, right?
Yeah. They called it Quest for
What-
Camelot.
Yeah.
They spelled
Like,
it wrong.
I've got a porn parody name for it. Can you guess what it is?
Quest for Camelot.
Nah. Quest for Camelot.
Both of them work, to be fair, I think.
Yeah.
Both of them work.
They could be sequels to each other.
Mine's almost an anagram.
This next one is by Katie Keyring, and it's called A Great Fun Animation. What do you reckon the scores are, guys? Come on, what do you reckon the scores are? Give me those
Great
scores.
fun animation. Out of 10, yeah?
Yeah, out of 10. Give us the scores. Come on, guys. Give me the scores.
7.
7 out of 10. Foley, what's your score?
Yeah, I'll go for 7 as well.
7.
Ooh.
It is a 10 out of 10, this review.
Oh, man.
10 out of 10!
Yeah.
This is a perfect film for him.
Apparently, I would never rate a film 10 out of 10. There is no way there can be a perfect film, as far as I'm concerned. Did you finally catch that fly?
I got that fly.
Nice.
How long is it been going on for the entire podcast?
It's been kept starting off and then coming back.
This whole Sam has been looking off camera, just trying to. It's the way he took his middle finger up at it.
Honestly, that's probably been a better quest than the quest for Camelot.
To be fair, Sam did warn the fly to fuck off.
I did, yeah. You had pretty clear signs I was coming for it.
Like
Oh,
Camelot.
dang, my chair.
So, Katie Keyring,
Katie Keyring.
10 out of 10. Just to say everything was just perfect.
It says, I used to watch this movie all the time when I was younger. Watched it for the first time in years and was not hopeful I would like it as much as I thought I did. However, I was wrong, and I still love it as much as I ever did. I love the songs, the characters, and the simple but clever storyline. I even love the slightly cringe animation of the ogre. They spell ogre wrong.
Ogre.
Yes, ogre.
It sounds like
Ogre, not ogre.
like I was literally going to reference that. There you go.
The villains in this movie were always some of the best I could remember, and they did not let me down, being funny, but also adding tension to the film. To be watch the same film.
Yeah, there's not really much tension in there. So.
Yeah. Also, now I am older, and I am a big Monty Python fan, for the discovery of Eric Idle in the film is a great extra to top off an amazing movie. Smiley face emoji, smiley face emoji.
They sound like they're 13.
I think it could be.
I like the fact they said like when I was younger, like definitely was like 5 years ago.
This next review is by somebody who's just called TJ. The review is as follows. Carrie Yules is best known for The Princess Bride, Days of Thunder, Hot Shots, Porco Rosso, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Robin Hood Men in Tights, The Jungle Book 1994, Twister and Liar Liar is brilliant. Gary Oldman is best known for JFK, Bram Stoker's Dracula, The Professional Immortal, Beloved, The Fifth Element, Air Force One, and The Lost in Space is a superb. Eric Idle is best known for Monty Python movies, Transformers, the movie, The National Lampoon's European Vacation, and Casper is superior. Don Rickles is best known for Toy Story and Casino. Pierce Brosnan is best known for Mrs. Doubtfire, Love Affair, The Mirror, Has Two Faces, Mars Attacks, GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, and Dante's Peak is a sensational. Bronson Pinchot, as best known for Napoleon, The First Wives Club, and Babes in Toyland, is a total blast. And Gabriel Byrne, as best known for The Cool World, Little Women, The Usual Suspects, and The Man in the Iron Mask. End of. Michael Medved, New York Post.
What?
Or you say the best known for and then just list everything they're in.
Yeah. And
That's not even a review. That's just their IMDb biography. Biography, sorry. That's
Is it wrong? I was supposed to do a review for this. I've only got 5 minutes. Oh, okay. I'll do this then.
It's just what's quite funny is it's just some of them it has a descriptor and some of them there isn't. There's because one of them says is superior and then it just says Don Rickles is best known for Toy Story and Casino and then it's just a space at the end. There are no full stops in this. The only punctuations are a couple of brackets.
It's just superb. Well, how did he end it again? Like, what was the sign off?
And then it just says Michael Medved, New York Post, but the person's by someone called TJ. So I don't understand what's going on.
Wait,
So they probably just copied someone else's.
for crying out loud.
That's the best review I think I've ever
I was
heard.
supposed to do a review. Let me just copy somebody else who had the same situation.
If that's them trying to sound clever, I think it worked.
And the final review that I have is... I actually remember wanting to walk out of this movie when I was young, and that was when I was about 7 years old.
He knew
say,
he
like-
wanted to be a film critic at that age. It's like, this is rubbish.
The backstory.
It sounds like the bloke from Ratatouille. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like he just likes everything.
If I don't like films, I don't watch them.
Is that what I said? There's like, I can remember wanting to walk out of this.
It's like, I knew that I would be a movie critic when I was 7, and I wanted to leave the film of the quest for Camelot.
I found a quest for my own destiny.
The quest for my destiny, and to leave the cinema. If not for my parents who had taken me, then I would have gladly left.
And done my homework.
I would rather have been doing an entire book report on the entirety of the Silmarillion than watch any more of this tripe.
Oh, I bet you're still colouring pictures at that age.
Now I need to return and complete my Spot the Difference book, starring Curious George.
And where's Wally?
A very hungry caterpillar.
I have got to the part of the book where he eats a strawberry. I will be delighted to see what he eats next. I love the idea of that. The context is that he's talking about the past as well.
Yeah.
So he's
It's
still
about-
reading The Hungry Caterpillar. And he's got his Spot the Difference book of Curious George in front of him as well.
I bet he still has it. It's like, this is the day I'll never forget when I walked
I
down that film.
swore that I would never finish this book until I found a good film.
It's just like it's like that bit in the movie where it's raining outside, there's thunder, and he's just staring away from the window as lightning flashes on the ticket stub of the quest for Camelot. He just stares at it enraged. Just that is a day that I will never forget. Just with the lightning in the background.
I feel like he definitely grew up to be like his own Rube. Is it Ruber?
His own
Like-
labour. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like like burning his hand on stone, like swearing an oath he'll never watch another good fucking
Like-
film.
Like instead of like he puts his hand in the fire, but instead of grabbing a stone, he like grabs a copy of the Quest for Camelot, just stares at it and crushes it in his
The
hands.
disc.
Yeah,
He's shattering it,
in his hands.
and then just slowly unclenches it with like shards sticking out of it.
Yeah, and he starts crying because he's only 7.
Wow.
That means the context of him staring at this ticket stub is just this 7-year-old in a suit just staring at this ticket stub.
Oh fuck.
I didn't even get the name of the person who made the review, so we've just been mocking this person.
You can't really have a 7-year-old online.
It's just the fact that he wanted to walk out when he was 7. You wouldn't.
He was 7.
Oh, pretentious 7-year-old.
Oh, do you think he went back home that night, just watched the news, or yes, this is what I'm meant to be doing? They definitely became a journalist when they got
Oh,
older.
God, yeah. I love the idea. It came out in 1998, right? 3 years later, when he was 10, he's just there like, this is a more interesting story. As he's watching the news in September. And then they're just like, oh my God, another plane hit the tower. And it's like, yes, the character development.
God.
I was gonna make a 9/11 joke earlier and I refrained myself.
I didn't.
What? What was it?
What were you going to make an... Oh, was this about when you were talking about the
It was
second
about
tower?
it was about the that would have worked. It was about the genie in Aladdin predicting things. I was gonna say, oh, it would have been cool if if they predicted some stuff in the future, like the tower going down or whatever.
Yeah, the Jews.
He just turns to Aladdin and was like, oh yeah, write this in your history book. If a plane hits a tower, another one will.
Ooh.
I love how it was relatively normal, not a lot of edgy jokes, and then the end of the podcast has just been 9/11 jokes.
Yeah.
Mate, YouTube is going to have a field day with this bit. All because of a kid just wanted to walk out with a quest for Camelot.
Think about it. It's that kid's fault.
Yeah, I blame
Yeah.
the kid. of
Name
Name
the
the Kid. Something else that
Maybe-
I wanted to say. I love the idea that he ended up being like a game journalist too, and it's like, the humour in this game is unacceptable. It mentions the cliches of the genre, but it does nothing to move it forward, merely acknowledges it, then continues the trend. I despise this. Full stop.
I'm curious.
8 out
What
of
you're
10.
doing? It reminds me of Christopher Lee.
That's my low-budget Christopher Lee voice. It's my low-budget
there you
Christopher
go.
Lee, yeah. That's what I've always done for it.
Oh, that makes sense now. Okay.
So, what do you think the link between the game and the film is?
Yeah.
Oh yes, here's the joyous moment.
Yep.
Right. I would think no. Both of them have the fantasy. That's
Mhm.
the main
Yeah.
theme. But I want to think like Rhys. It can't. It would be. It would be obvious, but not so obvious. But it's not.
I've got a joke one.
What's your joke one, Sam?
Both of them have a woman called Kaylee in it. If you mispronounce Calais in the basket.
Brilliant. If you don't say something right, they both have
Yeah.
the same name.
It looks like it could be pronounced that way from the.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's how Rhys mind was probably going. If that was true.
No.
I don't think
No.
she was mentioned by the time
No.
the other bit you got to.
So, Foley, what was your general idea?
Well, they literally involve quests. I just want to
That's not the
say
connection. That's not the
Comedy,
connection.
fantasy.
the fantasy.
Nope, not the connection.
Oh, there's.
I don't think there's any shared.
I'm too scared.
Actor, whatever.
I'm scared of what it could be. I'm terrified what the actual answer's going to be. Okay.
I have mentioned it multiple times, both.
Oh, both of them.
And I've skirted over it very quickly, hoping that you wouldn't twig on it, and it seems
It's
you
a
haven't.
musical thing.
Nope.
They've both got songs and fun songs
Nope.
that you can sing along to.
I feel along too. But I mean, you're 7 years old. Oh, God. Oh, what could have we said then if he's mentioned it multiple times? Oh, God.
Remakes of earlier properties. Or something.
Nope. Quest for Camelot is not a remake. It is a adaptation.
Adaptation.
Gotcha.
Is the game adaptation of anything?
It's
It's a remake of an
either
earlier
a
game.
remake or spiritual successor of like a few in the 80s. Yeah.
If you want any kind of hint,
Mhm.
you're wrong, Sam.
Okay.
One of the things that you
Helpful.
said is wrong. Very wrong.
What, the musical bit?
Nope.
What did I even say? Hello.
Nope. Nope.
Wait, can I just...
Fantasy.
Are you... As Sam said something recently, it was just like ages ago, you say.
This was when after I asked you the question of what's the link, and Sam has refuted something, which is the case.
Wait, did you say it's like the musical bit? Like,
It's not that bit.
it's not the Kaylee bit, is it?
It's not the Kaylee bit. That's stupid. Come on.
Wow, it's not wrong though, is it?
Oh my God, what? Sam, what did you say?
Well,
Oh,
the Daily bit.
Oh, is it like the remake of stuff? Like,
No, not that bit.
oh my God, Sam, what did you say?
I don't know. That's what I remember saying. I
I'm
did
recording-
the musical.
Oh God, right. 'Cause both
No.
of them are fantasy. Both of them include quests.
Oh man, this is great.
That fantasy comedy, I said.
Nope, it's not the comedy part.
No?
Fantasy.
It's not the fantasy part.
What else did I say?
Is it just the fact the protagonist is quite cocky or something? Like,
Nope, not that. Although it has something to do with the protagonist for the Bard's Tale.
do they both have pets?
Nope, far more specific than that.
More specific.
It's more specific than that.
Is this to do with the voice actor or anything?
Oh,
Oh, I said there's no shared voice actors or anything.
You did.
That's what I said. Crap.
wait. Something was said about
The
Princess Bride.
protagonist voices somebody in something.
Ooh,
Oh, Princess Calais is voiced by someone from Princess Bride.
no.
Oh, so that,
No, it was the Bard, actually, yeah. You're right.
wait.
I
Is that
don't-
the same voice actor for Garrett and the? Is it?
Ah,
It's Carrie Yules. Carrie Yules is the voice for Garrett, and Carrie Yules is the voice for the Bard.
very nice.
I was when that was mentioned. Like, wait, did someone just say Princess Bride? I was like,
In loads of the reviews, I was skirting over it. This is the review for Quest for Camelot. Carrie Yules is best known for the Princess Bride desert, and I skipped through that trying to see if you'd pick up on that. And
I think we picked up as best.
in the Bard's Tale is the voice acting also deserves a special mention, with Carrie Yules of Princess Bride fame as the voice of the Bard. There are some that may roll their eyes.
Oh, okay, fair play. I can't hate you for that one.
I
Okay.
gotta say, I was playing this game and until I like saw the credits and stuff, and also the Scottish mythology kind of put a dampen it. But I was like, this game feels so fucking German. Like the entire time I was playing it.
Yeah, that's
So I was surprised when it wasn't, kind of.
Gothic vibes are what I got from it.
Yeah.
However, you have now guessed the connection, which means it is probably time to finish. Thank you for listening for the podcast. Say bye, guys.
See you, guys. Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the podcast. You can find Foley at his YouTube channel, Mr. Dopey Foley, and Sam at his house, Edinburgh.